Hang on,
Hey.
Sandy, one second. If one of you guys want to just, yeah, if Phil or Jackie or Sharice, if you guys want to just
Can go
do
through.
the minutes
I'll
for,
go
like,
through it.
take over
Yeah,
for
I
me
can
for a minute.
share the screen with the minutes.
Thanks, Jackie.
Wait, I have to request. I don't know if I can share screen.
It's okay. Here, I'll put the link on. Do I have the minutes? Oh, they're not posted.
They were in the email from Zilly that was sent on April 21st at 2:31 p.m.
Oh, here they are. Yep. Okay.
I'm back.
So the mailer and rebate program, we reviewed the informational flyer. Reviewed the rebate. Um, the speaker series. At the library, I said I would introduce, and then I had a conflict. So whoever covered for me, thank you very much. And then we talked about Earth Day, the annual report. I think we made a few edits, and we talked about social, and the Council on Aging, and the student program for the Friday afternoon cleanup.
All right, thanks. Was that it?
Yep.
Try to share quick. Okay, so do we have any edits or anything, or do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from March 24th, 2026.
I'll second that.
Okay. So sorry, oh my gosh, sorry. Oh gosh, I'm a little bit of a mess today. Okay, so um, so we have to roll call vote for Zoom. Jen,
Aye.
Sharice,
Aye.
Phil,
Hi.
and I am an I. Thank you, Phil, for putting those minutes together for us. Okay, forgive me. We have a situation with my dad that I needed to she called twice in a row, so I needed to answer that phone call. Before we dive into our agenda, which I'll share my screen in a minute with that, I do want to just share who's in the room. So, Phil, Sharice, Jen, Forrester, and I are all on sustainability committee members, voting members, and Jackie Yee is also a member as the sustainability coordinator for the town, a non-voting member. And we have a guest today, Sarah Beck, who is going to be sharing when we get to the warrant articles. And Lulu is present as our newly hired rec director. Is that correct for your title?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I invited her along because to hear the update about Earth Day and the town cleanup plans that we have in the works. So the first thing on our agenda, and I might actually share my screen just so we can all be looking at it. Hmm.
That's the minutes.
Oh, that's the minutes, forgive me.
Grants.
I'm getting
Curbside
there, I'm
compost
getting there.
rebate program.
Yes. The curbside compost rebate program. So just an update on that. We did the mailer back in March. We almost right away had 3 people sign up and then a 4th as far as who requested a rebate. I checked yesterday and there weren't any more. I hope there might be another bump after the composting presentation at the library. It is possible that people are signing up but not requesting the rebate or haven't done it yet. But plugging away on that, do you guys have any questions about it? Okay. the next step with it is that Black Earth will be sending another email to all the current customers again, and this time they're gonna kind of give another push for if of all of the 212 people that are currently, or maybe it's more now, 215 who are already subscribed, get one person to subscribe, we will far exceed our goal of 350 subscriptions. And we'll also have a booth for this at Earth Day. I'm planning on making a thermometer that shows like where we're at and where our goal is. And the email from Black Earth, which should go out today, will also include an opportunity for people to sign up to be sort of champions or ambassadors of the program. Maybe attending on Saturday at that booth, or just finding whichever way they feel comfortable to share their experience with it, with curbside composting. And for anyone who didn't, this is just the history of this, I guess mostly for Lulu and Sarah, the rebate program is residents who sign up for curbside composting with Black Earth Compost by June 30th will receive a $45 rebate on their first 6-month bill. So we're trying to increase numbers. Speaker series update. I was absent on April 9th. We've already reviewed the March 26th one. April 9th, whoever was there, can you give us an update on how that went?
Yeah, I was there at the April 9th composting talk. We had maybe like 20 people there, I would guess.
Yeah, 20.
Yeah, and it was a pretty short presentation, but then there was a lot of time for questions, and people were asking really good questions. I know someone had asked about the possibility of like signing up for 6 months or a year and then but pausing it over the summer or over the winter. I think some people like have a second home and then the composting doesn't work for them. So that was an interesting question. And it seemed like Black Earth would be maybe willing to pause, but the person would have to reach out to someone higher up at Black Earth. So yeah, that was my most interesting like question that came out of it. But there were definitely a lot of people who were interested in learning more about composting.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I think that that stood out to me, and also the person who brought up like, oh, I'm a single person, and so I don't produce a lot of food waste, but like I share with my neighbor down the road, and now like other people will drop off from the neighborhood. So that was also interesting. And I was thinking of that myself because that made me remember a conversation I had with a friend who lives in a different town who is a single person. And he was like, I just don't produce enough to actually sign up. So I was just thinking like, oh, some messaging about that might be helpful. Like there are streets in our town where people are so tight, and I could just see that being like an easy solution, like one person signing up and then like it would still be able to collect for various families.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the things that stuck with me also.
Yeah, it seemed like Black Earth was not willing to advertise that, but they don't have an issue with people doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But
I
yeah,
might
it's a good
also,
crowd.
based on what you guys just said, I'm wondering, I feel like on their website I noticed recently, one of their offers was like if you would be a host for a larger cart at your home, which totally tracks with what you just described. Like then the whole neighborhood could share. But I don't remember the details on that. But if that's something that people brought up as something they'd be interested in, we could look into it. And then my question with that is again, like we still want to for subscribers to get the cost down, we'd want that to count, just like the schools, they still won't count the schools as part of the town subscribers, residential subscribers. So we'd have to have that conversation, but
Yeah, I
anyway,
think
that's sort of,
the in Arlington where I live, there's like a person who hosts a big Black Earth bin, but I understand that's used for like overflow for people who are subscribers,
okay.
or at least
Okay.
that's what it's supposed to be for.
Yeah.
Um, Someone had
Yeah.
told me about it when I was living in an apartment where I couldn't have a compost pickup, and so I was aware
Well,
that it was there, and like nothing's stopping you from just putting things in the bin, but like
right.
I think it would become a problem if everyone knew about it and potentially was like, not subscribing because they know about the overflow bin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a challenge where like you want their business to be viable, but you also want it to be affordable and make sense for people. So, all right. I don't want to get too into the weeds on that. So thanks for those updates on the speaker. Then the next speaker we have coming up on May 18th is going to be about our tour of the recycling facility at Casella. I recently learned that Gmello is also bringing some of their recyclables to the Republic Greenworks site, which is newly reopened. They kind of go between both of them, depending. I don't know what factors it depends on, but and I was lucky enough to, through Ipswich contacts, joined them on their tour at the Republic's facility when they had their grand opening. It was not running, so you didn't get to see it in action. And I have to say, like, it's a way big improvement from what it was previously when I toured them when it was still JRM. Um, when Republic first bought it. However, they didn't have as much technology as Casella has for sorting. They did still, though, seem to do a good job of actually sorting recyclables, finding end markets for them, and all that good stuff, which is what the focus will be for us on May 18th. So maybe after this meeting, I'm going to follow up with an email with just like things we need people to kind of volunteer for. So that's one that I definitely am going to need people who want to help be part of that presentation, but I'm not going to put you on the spot right now. I'm just going to follow up with an email about that for May 18th. So just have in your mind if that's something that you're available for, and if it's something that you can maybe help put the presentation together for. And then June 1st will be Ipswich. Yeah, go ahead,
Is there any
Phil.
way to find out how much Gmello has going to each facility generally? Or is there a reason is there like a unique reason that that they're taking some to Republic?
There was like a follow-up as we're getting close to the end of our first year with Gmello. Kevin had a little follow-up of the trash team. And that's where Jason Mello just mentioned it. I honestly think it's because Republic reopened, like they
Right.
had been closed for construction.
Right.
And he said that the price, he's been like shopping around for prices for better better pricing for recycling, for sending the recyclables. And he said they're all like within pennies of each other. So he didn't say this, but my best guess is it's just a matter of where it's convenient for the trucks to bring the stuff to.
Right. That's what I guess.
Yeah, as long as they know that the facility is doing the job correctly. But if you want, we can find out. So that when we present that day, we can have more data.
Yeah.
I'll make you a note. Where, why, which. All right. And then the Ipswich River Watershed, we don't really have to do much besides introduce them for. It's in June. Earth Day. This is, well, first let me just say, Sarah, do you have time to like, if we go in order on the agenda, or do you need me to bump you up? You have time? Okay. So Earth Day, May 2nd. We've got at least a dozen. I don't have, I can look and see. We have a pretty good representation of booths coming. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so far, these are the confirmed booths, and then there are some others, and I probably shouldn't be sharing this with everybody's personal information. Let me do it this way. It's going to be pretty good, I think. We've got a decent number of booths. Just letting you kind of read it over. The games from the library. I'd love to get somebody who could be like our photographer. And I'm trying to remember if there was any other that I didn't. There might be a couple of others that didn't make it on here yet, but we will have a food truck. So that's a big draw because they're known to be a good food truck. They've been coming to events in Topsfield, the Excellent Cafe. And it's like a family-owned business, which is nice. So our booths that we're in charge of, there'll be basically 3, really 4 actually. 4. The basic one is just like the hosting Topsfield Town Cleanup, which has been the same for quite some time, where we just check people in. I have grabbers for them to borrow if they haven't done their pickup of litter yet and they want to use those. Gloves, bags, whatever they might need, buckets for cleaning up their area of choice. And then we have a booth that will be about the composting. So I'm working on getting some Black Earth carts delivered so that we have some in case anybody wants to sign up on the spot. We can give them the cart like we did last year. Black Earth is not able to be there, but they trust us to do it for them with the carts anyway. And then I wrote how do you are. So the theme of like exchanging ideas and how to minimize waste. That booth I haven't really done much on yet. So again, after this, I have sent some emails out for like volunteers for things. My style of working, I imagine myself on like Thursday or Friday having a burst of inspiration, putting something together that I'll bring on Saturday, and it'll be great. And if it's not anything too wild and wacky, that's okay because there's enough other good stuff happening. But the hope is that people will exchange ideas of how they're minimizing waste in town, and then we can kind of follow up and spread the word. And then this is the one that I invited Lulu for. I think I had mentioned to you guys, and I'll stop sharing. I know I had mentioned to you guys that we had a 5th grader who's interested in cleaning up litter around the downtown area on their early release days, which they get out early on Fridays. They wanted to do it like maybe every other week or so. So we also connected with the Council on Aging to make it an intergenerational opportunity. And as of right now, the plan is, I might actually pull up the plan. Again, I'm so visual, I have to share my screen for everything. Okay, so I'm working with the mom of this young man, and her name is Adrian. So, I'm trying to let them do as much as they can, but they need us for parts of it. So it's kind of sponsored by us so that the town can have some ownership of how it works since it's after school. It's not really a school program. We did talk to Tri-Town Council. Again, they were kind of like, it's a little bit beyond their purview. So right now the plan is we'll introduce it on May 2nd. So hopefully they'll have a booth. And then the schedule for downtown cleanups, there was only one left during the school year. That's an early release Friday. But we decided to just keep it monthly on Fridays through the summer. And then they'd love to do another townwide cleanup in the fall, which we've never done. We've only ever done them in the spring. And then at that point, we can come up with the school calendar for next year. We'll have a link for people to register. Adults will need to be quarried. So if any of us want to do it, I think that would be fantastic. We just have to get quarried, and that's where Lulu was in the loop. I sent an email to a couple of people at Town Hall who would be the ones that would do the quarry. I need to figure out what the specific instructions are. Supplies, we're going to set it up so you can pick up supplies at Zumi's back door, since it's central to downtown. and it's an easy place where I can help store things. But Ben's mom got vests, I got grabbers, and then bags, buckets, gloves. We can use whatever we have from Earth Day. Now we just have to figure out how to define the areas around downtown and what time slots there will be. I did meet a woman from MassDOT who was cleaning up on Route 1, and I pulled over and talked to her. And she said she should be able to get us some yellow bags. I keep forgetting to reach out to her. But those like thick yellow bags, so that if someone's, maybe not for this, but in general, I wanted to talk to her because that way, if someone gets a lot of litter and they don't want to have to haul it back, it's very easy to identify, and we can ask our DPW to help go get back and get it, or we can go back and get it. Kevin Hartooni, and the town administrator, did say that if this, assuming this takes off, he'd love to recognize the young man who kind of kickstarted the idea publicly sometime next year through the town. And then we're also with the mom, we've talked about asking maybe the local pizza shops or Zoomies or other places downtown to maybe have some kind of rewards or treats for the kids that participate. On our kickoff at May 2nd, these are brainstormed ideas that the Cub Scouts came up with. So we're going to narrow these down to a couple of names that might actually work, and then have people vote on them May 2nd to have a name for this group. And then this is just draft language for a Google form that we'll put together for people to register to participate, and a legally approved waiver for children that are under 18. This is where we're still kind of finalizing the details. Any questions?
Looks great.
Yeah. I think it would be so cool if this does become something that happens all the time. And like, even if it's monthly throughout the year, just what a great testament to people caring about our town.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. I feel like I'm doing so much talking. Let me get back to our agenda.
I think they do something like that in Middleton, and they're called the Trash Queens. And they're
Yeah.
always I guess it's mostly women, but anyway.
Yeah. One of the trash queens actually helped me get a bunch of grabbers, which I'm also borrowing some from Salem. Keep Salem Beautiful is also going to loan us some. They did last year as well for Earth Day, but for the regular Friday, yeah, I got those from the Trash Queens of Middleton. All right, so now I think that was it for Earth Day. Making sure there's no questions on Earth Day in general. I know there's been a lot of communication around it. Just help me promote. We want to get people there. Our guest booths, make it worth their while. And of course, getting the town cleaned up from all the litter that exposes itself when the snow melts. All right, so we're on to policies. The first one listed on there is the waste policy. I don't have a draft yet. So basically, I'm waiting for them first, probably them to send me a draft of a waste policy that the select board wants to vote on, but they don't want to even look at it until we've approved it. So that's tabled for now. And then we have 2 articles in our town meeting this year. I was going to share my screen. Is this it? Town warrant packet. I might let Sarah start. So Sarah Beck, are you able to share your screen? Sarah, did I give you sharing access yet?
Let me check.
I might have to.
Oh, you did, but I didn't pull it up. Oh, here it is. Okay.
Do you want to share so that you have
Sure, that's fine.
control? All right, so this is one of the, which article number is it? 44?
It's 44.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I gotta get to slideshow mode. There we go. Okay, so I'll try to be quick. Wait, there's a funny box around it. Are you seeing the box? Or my thing getting cut off or something?
I feel like you could go back to not slide
Alright.
mode in that way.
Because I think it's getting cut off. Oh, I know what's
It's
happening.
just us. I don't
It
mind if
wasn't
you,
full screen. How's that?
oh, there we go.
That's
You are
good.
That
screen
looks good.
sharing, and now I can go to slideshow. All right, here we go.
Beautiful.
So, Article 44, it's a citizen's petition put in by myself and Lisa. I can never say her name, Nyan Demule. And our citizen's petition is asking for a home rule petition, which is required by the state in order for us to create our own bylaw to ban the second generation anticoagulant rodenticides, which I think probably most of you know what that is, but it's a kind of rat poison, mouse poison that you see these black boxes, and we do have a bunch of them around Topsfield to kill rodents, and it's an anticoagulant. So the problem is that it does not kill the rodents for 3 to 5 days. So they come out of there with this stuff in their system, and then they're easy prey for, you know, the raptors, owls, hawks, coyotes, foxes, dogs, cats, children. Well, I don't think the children are going to eat the mice, but anyway, and it builds up in their bodies, and then it kills them. So we've already lost 3 or 4 bald eagles in the past few years from it. When they they do autopsies and they find out it's in their bodies. 100% of the red-tailed hawks tested have it in their bodies. And we're just killing off our predators. So the box, there's an open box there, and it's got that blue stuff. That's the escars. So the mouse eats the escars, and then the creatures eat the mouse, and then they all get poisoned. So let me move on here. Yeah, so that's probably MK, one of the owls the eagle that died. And all there's a lot of wildlife rehabbers around the area, and they are just so upset because they keep getting more and more animals and there's really very little they can do to save them. I think Angel Memorial gets a dog every week. And these boxes are supposed to be secure, but like squirrels can go in there and grab the stuff out and drag it around. Like a whole bunch of them died in Arlington falling out of trees because they got poisoned from that. And I've seen pictures of snowplows hit the boxes too and break them open, and there's this blue stuff sitting in the snow. You know, so there is perfectly good solutions, and it's called integrated pest management. The first thing that should be done is you try to make an effort to exclude the rodents and don't feed them. And then if you have to, there are many other ways to deal with it, including birth control, snap traps, of course, electronic traps, contraceptives, dry ice. You can feed, vitamin D. If you have to use some sort of poison, one of my friends had if you call a pest control company to get the mice out of your house, the first thing they start doing is using the escars, which is insane. So one of my friends, once I told her about this, she called up her pest control company and said, I don't want you to use that. And they said, oh, okay, we'll switch it out with vitamin D. Now, vitamin D can be poisonous if a pet eats it directly, but it doesn't do the secondary poisoning. But again, it's better to try some of these other things. And we managed to exclude the mice from our house by shoving some stuff up between the siding and the foundation. Barn owls can eat 1,500 rodents a year. Anyway, so now the pressure put on some of the pest control companies are actually doing the right thing and saying they're not going to use it anymore. And I can highlight, I've seen this guy from Banner Pest Control come out before, and there's plenty of options that actually work better because they stop the mice from getting in the first place, because escars don't reduce the population. It's something you subscribe to, and then you have to do it forever because it's not really going to stop the problem. So, for example, down at the bottom here, this guy from Newton's Public Building Commission, they haven't used SCARs in 10 years, and they're doing okay. So in some ways, if you want to believe in conspiracies, you could say the pest control companies don't like it because they're going to lose business if they don't have to come every month. So in Topsfield, we've already created the select board and Kevin voted to ban it from municipal properties. Now, we don't even have control over the schools, but it's the other town-owned buildings are not going to use it. And there's a whole lot of, 991 cities and towns are making some kind of restriction. And there's a whole bunch of them. 18 already have home rule petitions sitting in the Massachusetts legislature. That picture down on the right at the bottom I was there. It was at the State House, and we had a big rally day, and there was people from about 80 different cities and towns, and we all talked to our legislators. As far as I can tell, our legislators, I've worked with them a lot, and they all support. There's about 3 different pieces of legislation going on right now in the State House that do various things, but who knows what's going to pass. And in the meantime, we want to go ahead and start this process. And this is kind of obvious. Oh, it also seems to be washing out and getting into water and there have been frogs and other amphibians found with SCARs in their bodies. So, anyway, so we're just trying to start the process here by having this vote. And I think that's pretty much, we got free, no cost rodenticide if we let our raptors take care of things. And, okay, that's it for that. How do I gotta get out of stop share. And I have firsthand experience actually because we lost a eastern screech owl in our yard right after it had found a mate. And there was a nest box with 9 eggs that all had blood on them, and the female was found dead in our pond because the anticoagulant makes them thirsty, so they go for water, and it was tragic. I cried for a week. It was horrible because those little owls were talking to each other all the time. Anyway, any questions? So I just thank you all for listening, and I hope you help us to support it. We're passing out flyers outside the door of town meeting that look like this, and there's a paragraph down here to describe it simply, and on the back it's got all the many options for getting rid of rodents that do not involve SCARs, so nobody can say, well, just turn your paper over.
So
Anyway,
I've got one
sorry, Phil?
What does Article 44 do then? I mean,
Okay, so Article 44, in order to, okay, wait a minute. The home rule petition means that in order to make a law for Topsfield that is, like the state does not have a law against this yet. So if we want to have our own law, we have to ask for a home rule petition from the state. Okay. Which is a real cumbersome thing. But anyway, it creates a bill. They already have like 25 of them sitting there on the docket. Now, encouragingly, there's the Senate just passed a bill last week that's called the Mass Ready Act. And there's an amendment that got into it that says that all the bills that are sitting in the legislature waiting to be acted on asking for home rule petitions would automatically be granted. So if we pass ours, and we've already got Kristen Kastner is like standing by to sign and make the bill to go to the legislature. And if this Senate version makes it through the House and gets signed by the governor, then we'll be all set to come back to Topsfield. We create our own bylaw.
Then there's another vote.
And then we have to vote on it again next year at town meeting.
Okay.
So this is just a process, but it's the only way to do it right now.
Right. That sounds good.
And there's also another piece of legislation that the House this week in there, they're trying to jam something into the budget bill, and there's like 1,700 amendments being proposed for the budget bill. Amendment number 322 is essentially the whole ban on the state of Sescars. So, you know, who knows where that's going to go. And then there's a third, the bill itself that was written by Rep. Hawkins that bans it from the entire state. That's still floating around there too. So there's about 3 different legislative opportunities. People are demanding it all over the state, and California's already banned it, and British Columbia, and others. You know, it's just a nuisance that everybody has to work on it individually, city and town, but hopefully the pressure will build and eventually we'll have a ban.
Thank you.
Sarah, I feel like I saw something from the state Audubon was sharing. Maybe I
Yeah,
misunderstood.
I think that was about the one that this week.
No, I saw it a
Well,
little.
they had one for the Senate before, and 5,000 people contacted the state senators.
Yeah.
And they were just totally over. And I saw Bruce Tarr get up and even say, yes, I support it.
Okay, great.
So
we've got Bruce,
it could
we've
have
got
been that. Then this week they had another one where they were saying contact your reps and tell them to vote for Amendment 322 to get it into the budget.
If that were to happen, would that just
Well,
mean-
that one, if that's the full ban, so that'd be awesome. If the Senate version, which is sort of watered down, passes, it just helps us skip one step of having to get our home rule petition passed.
Okay.
So, but
Question about the birth control part. Does that question ever get raised about removing like food from the food chain for the predators?
from the no one's mentioned that yet. I'm sure there's plenty of them around.
Plenty out there in the woods. We just
That
don't
aren't
want them in
gonna
our
be,
basement.
yeah.
Okay.
There's like all sorts of like industrial zappers. Like I think there's one in Lynch Park in Beverly where they go in, they get zapped, and then it has this like elevator lifts them up, throws the body into the trash can. And once it gets up to about 10 or whatever, it sends a text message, and then the DPW can go pick it up. But
I don't want to think about that.
there's a million different ways to do it. I know, but anyway, so we'll have our table there at Earth Day, showing people, like we have a whole lot of show and tell, showing people the different options to try to encourage them, you know, because that's usually the first question asked. What can I do instead? Well, there are many options.
So the reason I wanted this to come to us was if during discussion at town meeting, like elected boards usually have to weigh in on things, like, you know, planning board has to weigh in on any kind of bylaw. I forget if this is part of a consent agenda. Do you remember?
I don't think so. And the FinCom is recommending positive action.
So that's great. I don't think there'll be an argument, but I did wonder if our committee would be willing and interested in voting in support of this as a committee today, so that at town meeting we could stand up and say the Sustainability Advisory Committee supports this.
We would love that.
Thoughts?
Yeah, let's do that.
We should.
I'm going to call that a motion by Charisse and a second by Phil. Do you agree? Okay. So let's take a vote on that. Jen?
Aye.
Charisse? Phil?
I
And I'm an aye. So you will have our support. One catch is this is crazy, but I'm actually not going to be here for town meeting this year. It's the first time in a very long time. Yeah, it's crazy, but I'm not going to be here. So if someone else wants to reach out to me after this meeting and let me know if you'd be willing to be our spokesperson on behalf of SAC, that would be very cool. So Sarah, thank you so much for that presentation and for all the alternatives, especially. I think it's really helpful to, if you're going to, you know, say no to something, to have an option.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's really helpful.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you.
I did, sorry, can I just say, like, I did, like, follow the various prompts to send messages and emails, and I did get one back from Bruce Tarr, and he said that he was a co-sponsor of the amendment, actually, which was good, and supported its inclusion in the final bill. That was amendment number 3, though.
Right, that was for the Senate version. Then the 322 is a House thing for, they're trying to jam it into the budget.
Okay.
And both of our reps, Kastner and Karen's, are co-sponsors of that. Well, Kastner wasn't yesterday, but she will be because her aide said it was number 1 on the list of things she was going to talk to her about yesterday after she got out of the meeting.
Okay, awesome. So is S2721, is that the bigger one then?
Let me.
Because he said I'm also a co-sponsor.
Yeah.
And consistent supporter of that one.
I think it might be. That might be the original bill that is a full-out ban, which would be really awesome.
Okay, great.
But I'm going to double check right now. I'm looking at my legislature. Sign it. Sorry. Go. You can carry on, and I'll get back to you and tell you. But I'm checking right now.
Thank you.
Anything else while she's checking? Okay. There was one other article, so I just kind of looked through the warrant to see if there were any articles that were relevant to our mission. And the other one is Article 29, about tree removal and planting. And this is part of a consent agenda. So I have a feeling there won't even be any discussion. However, there was a year within the last couple of years where there was discussion around something tree removal related. So basically this one is to see if the town will vote to money to remove hazardous trees and plant new trees on town properties and public right-of-ways. And, you know, it's possible that somebody could pull this from consent to say, why are we spending, even though it's from free cash, $40,000 on this? My belief is it's always good to take care of our trees. And not only does it help just the right of way and like the feeling of the town, but it's surely also helpful for stormwater and watershed well-being. So this is another one that I thought we might want to consider voting today, just so we know that how our committee feels about it. If there is any discussion, like for Sarah's, I feel like it might be helpful for somebody to get up and just say, this is like right out of the gate, whether or not it starts to be a discussion. This one we would only speak to if there is discussion, and just say that we discussed it and agree that it's a worthwhile use of funding. Thoughts?
My only comment on 29 when I was reading it was that I wish it had committed more to planting, because I'm afraid of the $40,000. It's probably just going to be used for removals, especially since they never have enough money for removing the trees that need to be removed. And I'm not sure this is probably a topic for another year, actually, to get actually a town bylaw, a tree bylaw is what we should have in this town. Because the planting part, I think, is always kind of a missed step and a missed opportunity. I know the Concom has, you've got a tree replacement policy, I think, is part of your regs, right? Your bylaws?
Yes, that's right. But that's only for like
Trees in
within
your jurisdiction.
wetland buffer zones and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, some towns have a much broader bylaw or ordinance that requires replacement of trees that are, public shade trees and that kind of protection of public shade trees, those sorts of things. But I think this is necessary for this to pass. There's no question about it. But I just think
they do specify.
Go ahead.
They do specify, purchase and plant additional trees.
Yeah, the wording's in there.
It's just your concern is that their follow through might be focused only on the removal.
It doesn't really say how much is planting and how much is removal of trees.
Yeah.
And planting's expensive. It says removal, actually.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely in support of this article. I'm just, just as a
Maybe in
sidebar.
the future, we can look at that as something that
Yeah.
I know it's come up before with, Ben Nutter as well. I feel like there's been initiatives in the past, so maybe we can definitely look at that more closely for
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
So for this one, how are we feeling? Do we have a motion to, the motion would be to have the Sustainability Advisory Committee recommend positive action on this article.
Sure, I can make that motion.
Thanks, Sharice. Need a second?
So during town meeting, you mean?
Yeah, like we would know, we would only speak to it if there's discussion, because since
Gotcha.
it's a consent agenda, it might not even get pulled. But if it did get pulled, that having voted on it today gives us the authority to speak as a committee.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll second that.
Thanks, Jen. All right, roll call, Phil,
I
Sharice,
Aye.
Jen,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Thank you. All right, now we can circle back. Sarah, did you get some? I see it in the chat, but for
I
public
just put it
record
in
of
the chat. Yes,
video.
you were right,
Can you-
Charisse. It's 2721 for the Senate version. There's also House version. Both of those are like an outright ban, and they're still floating around in there. It's just that they're also trying to make them into amendments so they can attach them to other things.
So the Senate version is S2721 and the House version is H5217.
Yep.
And those numbers just are there to make us dizzy.
They're both kind of stuck in, I think they're both stuck in their various ways and means at the moment. So that's
Okay.
why the people that are pushing it are trying to nick them into other legislation, bigger bills.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So that was it for policies and town meeting. Any communications updates, Sharice?
No, but thank you for doing the Facebook portion while I was away.
During school break, yeah. This
Yeah.
week, I think I did post today, and then I was like, oh wait, sure, or no, maybe that was yesterday. I was like, oh,
It was
Sharice is back
yesterday.
now. I don't have to.
Yeah, it's okay.
But,
I put everything on Instagram that you put on.
and you might have jet lag too, right?
I'm sorry. I'm like barely functioning. It's
Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
we travel a lot, but this is the worst jet lag I've had in a long
What
time.
was the time difference?
It was 6 hours earlier. So going the other direction towards Europe, like I'm used to that, but this was,
Yeah.
it's
Different.
rough. So I apologize for being.
No worries. This week, I feel like let's just push Earth Day wherever we can. Everybody and everywhere. Touch it, tag it, repost it. Make sure people realize it's this weekend, and then we're done. And as far as updates, I do have an update from Raphael on trash that I want to share. So he did prepare this for us, and I'm actually looking at it for the first time now myself. So I asked him to just prepare any updates on now that it's been about a year with the trash and recycling. And so he shared this. I'm not going to go into share mode. I'm just going to do it this way. Basically showing, it looks like our municipal solid waste dropped by about 13%, which is great. 250 fewer tons of solid waste. Okay, he did like fancy math. So he's got a reduction of 21% annualized. If anybody knows what that means, you can tell me. Recycling tonnage also went down by
I
10.
think it's because the data was only from July to February, so maybe
Was it
he
July to February? Yeah, okay.
so
Good
then
point.
he made it for a 12-month period if you assume the same reduction each month.
Thank you. All right, thanks. So it's interesting that recycling tonnage went down. My guess, though, is I'm not sure. We should find out if that's including the cardboard drop-off. If it's just curbside recycling, that 100% makes sense that it would have gone down. In fact, it might actually have gone up as far as like recycling if you took cardboard out from the previous numbers, because previously we didn't have a cardboard drop off as we do now. Average recycling. Oh, so let's see. Recycling rate. You guys got to help me read this. Increased 26 to 29%.
So
All right,
that's
so there's
what
not enough.
percent of the tonnage of waste is recycling.
Ah, I like that number. Okay, and then overall waste decreased. I guess that's both combining recycling and trash. So estimated savings of $28,000. That's sort of what we were trying to drive down to show the town that our changes in the by moving to automation and changing some of the other things that we did and keeping the 35 trash. We're saving the town money. All right, larger volumetric reduction in tonnage across categories. JRM stopped sending data during their strikes, so we lost some of that. It's just kind of visually showing us the numbers that he just gave us. Let me know if you guys see anything here you want to talk about. And now he has change in tonnage 25 over 24. I'm wondering what these funny little spikes are. Large relative reductions. So this lighter blue is the solid waste. The dark blue is recycling, and the gray is total. This little spike is kind of interesting in the recycling.
Is that the holidays, Christmas, etc.?
Right? Yeah. But it's funny because the solid waste was down.
Hmm.
So that's interesting. Both change in tonnage. All right, let's look at this one. Oh, actual invoices, cost under the current contract with previous solid waste and recycling tonnage based on previous year's tonnage and actuals. All right, so he's showing that there's real savings to the town. And then check next steps. We're going to look for more data, see if we can get more historical data from before times. Set up town hall systems to make this tracking easier and automatic. Incorporate effective white goods and bulk good pickups, as well as fuel surcharge. Yeah, I don't think that's included in any of this. So thank you, Raphael, who's not here, for that. But that's nice. I might try to pull like a couple of big data points for our booth on Saturday when we're sharing ideas, because just in case anybody shows up who's one of our they're usually just keyboard warriors, but one of the people that don't like the new program, if any of them show up, it might be nice to just have some of this data at our fingertips. Or maybe we can turn it into something that we post for the town. And I will say, just so you guys are aware, there is a new communications person for a town as well, Noelle Mumford. Many of you know her, I'm sure, is replaced Stephanie Bellatti's role. So she's wonderful, and we can do some good work with her. Any other updates from anybody else? Okay. All right. If there's nothing else, I'm very excited to see whoever's. Oh, Sarah, you have your hand up.
May I just say something real quick? Different subject, but did anyone see that movie Plastic People that was shown at Cabot Theater last
Not yet.
night? Oh my God. Well, if you want to scare people about plastic and encourage alternatives, like start using glass and other things that
Yeah.
are more recyclable, if there's a way to have a screening of that at some point in Topsfield, I think it would be really pretty awesome because it's all over our bodies, it's everywhere, you know.
Well, after Earth Day, so I guess I'll share this as an update too. Like after Earth Day, in June, I'll be sending out a note to everyone to find out who wants to stay on the committee. Hopefully everybody does. If anybody's not staying, and then also if there's any new, I think Stephanie Lobner, I'd love to invite her to join the committee. And then over the summer, we'll work on our goals for next, like looking back at our strategic plan and deciding what our theme focus will be for next year. But we want to do the speaker series that we're doing now. The hope is to kind of do them maybe twice a year. So that maybe a screening of a film like that could be part of our speaker series next fall or spring. So thanks for the idea. All right, you guys, thank you so much for your time today. Lulu, thanks for joining us. And Sarah, thanks for your presentation. And I'm gonna hopefully see lots of you on Saturday. And I'll adjourn our meeting, seeing no objection at 12:57.